The Rams have made the biggest trade so far this offseason, adding all-pro cornerback Trent McDuffie. Was it the right move? We'll break it all down. And how much will he get paid? Also, Luka Doncic getting hate. Ryan Russillo says Lakers fans are starting to turn on Luka. I'm going to tell you why that's ridiculous. Also, we're previewing Lakers Nuggets, why this could be the statement win the purple and gold needs to get that momentum heading into the playoffs. And we're talking Dodger baseball. It looks like there could be a surprise player that makes that opening day roster, a long shot that looks like he's locked up a spot. We'll talk about that. The haters are saying Clayton Kershaw looks washed for Team USA. UCLA women's basketball players dancing and doing the cheerleading. We'll talk about that. And Cameron Brink said she had to fire her. She couldn't pay for her chef. We'll talk about that. And that's going next on the LA Sports Report.
LA is the sports capital of the world. The Lakers have entered their Luka Doncic era. LeBron doesn't just want a farewell tour, he wants a farewell title. The Rams are going to win the Super Bowl. Go, Kings, go! The Dodgers are the best run franchise in all of professional sports. Shohei Ohtani is the GOAT. Steve Ballmer will do anything to get the Clippers a championship. Mick Cronin has to win a national championship at UCLA. Justin Herbert is a top 5 quarterback in this league. College football is just better when USC is good. This whole city has the Mamba mentality. I love LA.
Live from the heart of Los Angeles, this is the LA Sports Report with your host, Doug McKain.
What is up, Los Angeles, and welcome to the LA Sports Report. If you haven't yet, do us a huge favor. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, drop a like, drop a comment. The fastest growing all LA sports podcast, not just Dodgers, but Lakers, Rams, Chargers, UCLA, USC. If they're talking about it in the world of LA sports, we are talking about it right here on the LA Sports Report. So definitely be sure to make sure you're rocking with us here. Now, we've got a jam-packed show. See, the comments are already filing in, and you got to play my Rams theme song. Let's just ram it. There we go. The Rams, they make the biggest trade so far this offseason. They added Trent McDuffie. We've been talking about it for a couple of months now, that the Rams needed to make a major move. They needed to make a move that signified that they were going to go all in for the Super Bowl next season. They were so close to winning the Super Bowl for the last 2 seasons, losing to the eventual Super Bowl champions. It was the Eagles on the road a year ago. And then we saw what happened this season. You lose to the Seahawks. You were so close. And at the same token, you truly weren't all in. So the fact that the Rams got as close as they did, yet they were not all in, it really tells you that this is an investment on the defensive side of the football. The Rams had one of the least expensive defenses in the National Football League for the last couple of seasons, and they add a player in Trent McDuffie that certainly fills their biggest need, and they do it with premier talent. Now, if you look at the package that the Rams had to give up to get him, you give up one of your first round picks, the number 29 overall pick, and that's not your number 13 pick, so it was your top selection. You had to give a first round pick at 29, which at that point, that's house money. And you're not going to get a cornerback as good as Trent McDuffie with the number 29 pick in this draft. At least it's extremely unlikely. And then you give up 2 other picks after that, the 5th round pick, a 6th round pick, and then a 2027 3rd round pick. So as far as a draft capital standpoint, it is somewhat of a hefty haul, especially considering the fact that you're going to have to pay him because he's going to sign a contract that's going to make him the highest paid cornerback in the National Football League. You have to give him $30 million. But here's the thing. It's not going to have that big of an impact on future contracts. I've seen people out there saying, oh, Trent McDuffie, how could you make Trent McDuffie the highest paid cornerback when he's not the best cornerback, when he's not Sauce Gardner, when he's not as good on the outside? Well, the truth is, if you know ball, you know that the salary cap has eclipsed $300 million for the first time in league history. And you also know that it will not impact the Rams until 2028, most likely. So the truth is by the time that this new contract, which Albert Breer says is going to be something in the ballpark of $30 million per season, which will make him the highest paid cornerback in the National Football League, by the time this contract is going to impact the Rams roster build, we'll know already if this was the right move. Because at that point, the odds of Matthew Stafford being your quarterback are unlikely. The odds that you're going to have the rest of that 2023 draft class that includes Byron Young, Kobe Turner, Puka Nacua, Steve Avila. We know that Puka's a lock to get a big deal. That's a no-brainer. They won't even think twice about that even for a split second. But I do think that this deal that they made was an indication that they have internally made a decision on one of those guys. Now, can you pay all those guys? You can, but that's not smart business. You don't want to completely landlock your roster completely. And Trent McDuffie is certainly a player that fits what the Rams needed. I mean, even though he's not this elite outside corner, he's solid to good. And he is elite in the slot. And with a better pass rush, with Chris Shula and how they scheme with a bend but don't break style, Trent McDuffie certainly is going to give them what they need. So when I hear people out there saying, he's not the best cornerback, so why would you give him the best money? That's not what's important to the Rams. What's important to the Rams is he's the best cornerback on the Rams by miles and miles and miles, and it's not even close. And he has had success on the outside. I mean, in 2024, he was a second-team All-Pro as an outside cornerback. I mean, a lot of that could be due to reputation, but he didn't allow more than 53 yards receiving in a single game last year. He's never allowed a 100-yard game going up against him in his career. So he does have a really good track record. It backs it up. And also, when you look at what the Rams have done, this was a move that they were able to make because of how much success that they have had with their draft picks. There's this whole, the F them picks here, right? The truth is that what the Rams were doing in the last 3-4 seasons, it was not the F them picks era. It was the yes them picks era. It was, you got any more of those picks? Because we're trying to make picks. We are trying to do that. And that is how you put yourselves in a position to avoid a down to the studs type of rebuild where you're forcing yourself to basically blow it all up. And you know that when they make the decisions they make as far as player personnel, that it's always to set themselves up to be able to take a big swing like they were able to do. I mean, just look at what the Rams have done. They've done what most teams aren't able to do, and that is go all the way in multiple times with the same coach, with some of the same players. A lot of times we've seen this. Look at the Denver Broncos a couple years ago with Russell Wilson. We've seen teams try to do what the Rams have done, but they skip the part where they actually win the Super Bowl. And when you look at what Les Snead and Sean McVay and the Rams have done the last couple of seasons, I mean, this is one of the most impressive reloads and mini rebuilds that we've ever seen in the history of the National Football League. Everyone talks about what the Dodgers are doing in this city. People are wanting to see what the Lakers can do in this city. And you talk about the Luka Doncic trade. I think what the Rams have done is as impressive as what the Dodgers have done, for the simple fact that you're doing it in a league that has a salary cap that you have to hit right on guys. And just look at what they've done with their draft pick since 2022. They got the best, or arguably the best, at least a guy that you could say is firmly in that mix with Jackson Smith and Jigba and Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson and the best receivers in the league. They got one of those guys with their fourth pick in the 5th round. They picked Puka Nacua up in round 5. Steve Avila, guard that's been a really good starter that has some Pro Bowl potential in round 2. Warren McClendon, they picked up in round 5, and he's going to take over as their starting right tackle. Kyron Williams, round 5. Braden Fisk, last season, it was the most aggressive trade up that we've seen in the NFL draft in almost a decade, and they get him in round 2. Quality. Kobe Turner, one of the best at his position in the league, they get him in round 3. Of all these names, the only one that was the first round pick was Jared Verse, and he's a guy that has defensive player of the year level potential. They took him in the first round. Cam Kinchins, round 3. Quentin Lake, round 6. Kobe Durant, round 4. They even got Ethan Evans, a punter out of Wingate. Where is even Wingate? They're the Wingate Bulldogs, by the way. They get him in round 7. He's been really good. Then on top of that, they've hit on UDFAs, Alaric Jackson, Omar Speights. You got a left tackle in Alaric Jackson that's been your starting left tackle at one of the most important positions in all of sports. So have they missed on some guys? Yes, there's the Tutu Atwells where you could have Creed Humphreys. Yes, there are some picks and some misses there. But still, the reason why they're able to make the trade to get Trent McDuffie is not because they're the big bad Rams and the FM picks. It's because of the picks that they made. It was the yes them picks era that led to the FM picks era. That's what I'm calling it. And yes, if we are going to move on to that, you can even go deeper than that. Terrence Ferguson last year, Josiah Stewart, both promising young players as well. So give the Rams a lot of credit. They draft better than any team right now in the National Football League, arguably, and they're not even doing it with first round picks. They've had one first round pick since 2017, and they put themselves in a really advantageous position. Now, as far as Trent McDuffie, still continuing to do the deep dive on him, there's a lot of data that does suggest, okay, is he solid to good as an outside? Sure. Is he elite as a slot? The answer is yes. Now, something you need to know about him are that he's young. He's 25. It's a young player's position. You're not going to really have a lot of success with those 30-plus-year-old cornerbacks at this point. So when you consider that, that means that the only time that you can really acquire these guys is via draft or via trade. And here's some stats you got to know about Trent McDuffie. Here's some stats you got to know that will make you feel pretty good about him. He's one of the best tackling quarterbacks in the NFL. As a quarterback, he's caused 6 forced fumbles. And that's one of his strengths, is he's a great tackler. He's not just a willing tackler. He's someone that can play with a certain level of physicality. He had an 83.1 tackle grade per PFF. That was second among all cornerbacks last season. Only Christian Gonzalez had a higher grade as a tackler. And that's something this Rams team has just not had. And then also, like I said, this is someone that does not allow himself to get cooked. We saw too many games last season. Rams cornerbacks looking like barbecue brisket out there. They had no answers. And McDuffie is someone that, yeah, he can blow up a game and shut down a certain area. And I look at kind of my initial grade on this trade. If I'm going to throw out a grade, I think it's an A trade. I really do. This is an A trade for the simple fact that they had a need, they filled that need, and they did it with what I think is going to be the best cornerback that's going to change teams this offseason. I think you look at free agency, you look at trades, you look at the draft. I think that when we have this conversation this time next year, we'll say that the cornerback that changed helmets and changed jerseys, he's going to be the very best guy to do that. And it's kind of wild too, when you look at just all the history. I mean, he said back in August, he was asked, hey, if you could play for another team, who would that team be? He said, well, it'd be the Los Angeles Rams because that's where my family's from. They can come see my games. He also played with Jimmy Lake, who coached him at Washington. And from what I've heard is that Sean McVay and Les Snead and the Rams, and if you guys watch my other show about the Rams, Locked On Rams, I mentioned multiple times throughout this offseason that I thought Trent McDuffie was the number one target they needed to go after. And I was hearing that Jimmy Lake was telling Sean McVay and the rest of this organization, like, we got to go get this guy. And he was a big reason why. So he reunites with Jimmy Lake. So yeah, it's exciting things. It's exciting stuff just because this is a Rams team that they have a really good sense of when they know when to go all in. And you look at last year, for example, everyone thought the Rams should have gone all in last season because they felt like it could have been Matthew Stafford's last season as the Rams quarterback. And what did they end up doing? They ended up trading out of the first round. They made a trade with the Atlanta Falcons to get their pick, which they used on James Pierce, who was bad, then really good, then did a lot of weird stuff in the offseason. And now they've got the luxury of having a war chest that allows them to go out there and make a move. So, yeah, I mean, other connections. It's from Southern California, like I said. It's also Quint Lake's teammate in high school. It's from Westminster, California. He's going home to SoCal. He started at Mater Dei High School, where he played with Quint Lake. Then he transferred to Servite, then St. John Bosco. This dude's like trying to play for every single premier high school program in SoCal. And then he went and he was a Husky and he played for Washington. And I think that familiarity is going to help. I think he is going to a Chiefs team that was a perennial Super Bowl contender. And then now you go to a Rams team that now they're the betting favorites to win the Super Bowl, playing at home, and you're going to get a bag. So he's played with Puka Nacua at Washington. He played with Rams DB coach Jimmy Lake. And yeah, it's going to be, I think this is a great, great fit. The only thing that would make this not a great fit is if he on the outside does not perform well. And he ranks in the top 10 in slot corners in yards per snap allowed, passer rating allowed since 2022. So all the metrics, all the data backs up that he's elite from that standpoint. I think what the Rams should do is move him inside. I don't think they should put him in a position that doesn't optimize him. As an outside cornerback the last 2 years, he's had a 74.7 and a 79.2 coverage grade. And it's been a pretty decent sample size. But where you really take advantage of him is the pressure that they can get from him. Steve Spagnuolo in Kansas City, he used McDuffie, used him as a blitzer. He rushed the quarterback 146 times and had a pressure on 34 of those. He has 5.5 sacks and 15 QB hits in his career. And those 34 pressures in that span are the most by any cornerback in the NFL since 2022. So the other thing I wondered too is, will Chris Shula have some different packages for him? Because Chris Shula is not a heavy blitz type of defensive coordinator. The Rams, bottom of the league towards it, had a blitz rate around 17%. And that usually is something that tells you that you have a really good front, because you don't need to send guys because you can get consistent pressure along your defensive line. But now you got a different weapon. You got a different bullet that you can fire off. And I think that with him, I want to see McDuffie sent more in 2026. So, yeah, I mean, he's really unique. He really is unique. Here's a good stat that will allow you to understand that this is not just your run-of-the-mill, really good all-pro cornerback. This is someone who's unique in what he brings to the field. Defensive backs with 25-plus pass defense, 15-plus QB hits, and 10-plus tackles for loss since 2022, Trent McDuffie is the only cornerback in the NFL to be able to do that. You got Kyle Hamilton, Derwin James, Antoine Winfield Jr. They can do that, but we're talking about basically a guy that can play with the physicality of a really good dominant safety or even a linebacker at times, but also has the quick twitch, the ability to move those hips and play with the game in front of you, moving backwards like a really good cornerback. So I'm happy I get my guy. This is something that you guys were joking with us on my other show that we've been pushing for this because we thought that was going to happen. No, it happened because it just made too much sense. But all right, we got some comments. We got that's a lot of picks to give. Mario Landaverdi. You got to put everything in context. Like, if this is for a team that's not all in, then you say, wow, yeah, that is a lot of draft capital because you're giving up picks for a position where the Rams, since Jalen Ramsey, haven't heavily invested in that position. And a lot of this is going to come down to a couple things too. Is the second thing is, do they draft more cornerbacks, which is something that they could do from what I'm hearing. Also, what's your current stock of Emmanuel Forbes? Because Emmanuel Forbes had his ups and downs. What's a reclamation project? He's the only other guy on the roster right now that can play on the outside. So either you're going to have to sign someone else, draft someone else, or you're going to believe in Emmanuel Forbes, and also has this impact Quentin Lake. We got the nice shirt, D-Mac. Thank you. Muad'Dib says we need like one starter from the draft. This draft is great because now we can finally get some depth. I still think there's a possibility that the Rams, if their guy is not available at 13, I still think they should go playmaker. If Carnell Tate fell to them, that'd be incredible. Mekhi Lemon could be available. And we'll see if some of these elite defenders are available because of some of these little warning flags they've had, like Ruben Bain and Caleb Downs. That's another interesting thought as well. But if those guys aren't available, they're number one targets. I certainly think there's a world where we could see what we did last year, where Leslie trades out of the first round with that 13th pick to get more picks. Maybe you save that for a quarterback in next year's draft. Maybe you save that to just replenish some of those picks and to get more depth. Personally, I want to get the best playmaker available and just make this offense absolutely as unstoppable. And that's where you really kind of look at. Now, the Rams' next move they can make, I think that's ultimately going to be something that we're going to see after the new year begins on Wednesday and in the draft. I know that everyone now wants to see Max Crosby on the Rams. Well, it does make a lot of sense if you're just absolutely going to empty the clip. He's certainly on the table. He's certainly someone that the Rams are keeping tabs on. Albert Breer said a couple of days ago that the Rams, along with the Cowboys, Bears, Ravens, Bills, Patriots, and Eagles, are keeping tabs on Max Crosby. But that's gonna require your first round pick. And I think if you're not going to pay Byron Young, and Byron Young can be included in that deal, would I trade Byron Young, my number 13 pick, and the willingness to absorb Max Crosby's big contract? That would be an extremely bold move, because a Max Crosby can end a football game. No one's ever going to be an Aaron Donald unless you're Lawrence Taylor, Reggie White, or a Myles Garrett. Like, we're talking about the elite of the elite. Like, those guys aren't walking through that door, and Max Crosby certainly is not that, but he certainly is the guy that could end a game. And right now, it doesn't feel like the Rams are right at the top of the Max Crosby sweepstakes. Right now, it's feeling like it could be the Bears, and the Bears are another team. They're in on the Max Crosby sweepstakes. And then the Dallas Cowboys, there's some talk that the Cowboys want to pair him with Quinnen Williams. So as far as the next move, I think right now the Rams are kind of waiting to let free agency develop, wait till that draft gets here, and then we'll see that next move. I wouldn't be shocked if they go out there and go crazy on Max Crosby, because I can tell you from the Rams standpoint that edge rusher, pass rushers, that is one of the top three positions that the Rams are always going to invest heavily in. But it does feel like they made their big swing in Trent McDuffie. All right, some more comments here. We got Young Braveheart. That's a waste of picks for a slot corner. I mean, that's the thing. It makes me cringe when I hear this around from people saying that he's just going to be a slot corner. I mean, that the truth is, I gave you the numbers. You guys know my saying. I bring my facts to the fight. I don't just say things. There's usually a number that backs it up, and it tells you that, yes, he's not elite as a outside corner. And is he as good as Jalen Ramsey was when they traded for him? No, but he can certainly do that. And I think, too, there's a world where you could say his best football could be in front of him. I mean, I think with a really good pass rush again, I think that he improves from that standpoint. We got they're going all in. I respect that. And I appreciate it as a fan from Topher's. La Puente in the house. Pablo Ramos. Fun fact, my dad went to La Puente High School and he said he would sneak into Dodgers games. And I'm like, how could you even do that these days? But apparently they would do it, sneak into Dodger Stadium back in the day. So shout out to La Puente. The Tomahawk is, I think, their newspaper or something. All right, switching gears to the association. Let's talk some purple and gold. Let's get into the Lakers. I saw this. Ryan Russillo, who, let me preface this by saying that Russillo's one of my guys. I don't think I've missed an episode of Bill Simmons or Russillo in the last, I don't know, decade, who knows, right? Those are, Russillo's a legit ball knower. Bill Simmons, my Bill Simmons story is always going to be, I saw Bill Simmons and I went back to my car to get his book, The Book of Basketball. I went up to him, said, Bill, read this thing 3 times. Can I get an autograph? Big fan. He said, sure. And he saw that I was wearing a Lakers shirt. He's like, but I have one condition. I only sign autographs in a Celtics green Sharpie. So the dude didn't sign with the black pen I gave him. He brought out a green Celtics Sharpie and signed my book, saying Bill Simmons, and he said, go Celtics too. So I still have that. Good times. But Bill Simmons actually not with Ryan Russillo. He's on Barstool. He left the Ringer. But here's a clip of Ryan Russillo. He had Jovan Bua on his show, and they were talking about Luka Doncic, and he thinks that fans have turned on him. Here was Russillo on Luka.
It's entirely different when you're playing for the Lakers, and it feels like the conversation has shifted on him a bit. I think it's gotten to the point where it feels like way too negative in the way that he's being talked about based on what he is in this game, even with the warts.
I've seen the shift over the past few weeks where it's been a lot more negativity from Lakers fans toward Luka, and a lot more just not liking the aesthetics of his game or the shot selection or just the heliocentric nature. From the national perspective, I think this had been brewing since the 2024 finals, right? You had the Windhorst moment, and then you also had, post Dallas trade, just a lot of the narrative coming out from the Dallas side. So I think this has been brewing, and there's been a little bit of a narrative around Luka. And to be clear, a lot of it's fair.
This is definitely one of those, right? This is definitely one of those where I listened to this and I said that I had to go on here and just point out how this doesn't really make a ton of sense. So first and foremost, are Lakers fans down on Luka? Have Lakers fans turned on Luka? No. What they mean is LeBron fans and frustrated Laker fans that think that we should win the NBA title every year and be first in the West and are impatient, those are frustrated. I don't think there's any Laker fan that understands the trajectory that this team's on and the timeline that they're on is frustrated. Now, I think Luka, from other fans, yes, he's known to complain to the refs. And sometimes his game with some of the volume shooting, you can say, is it as aesthetically pleasing as some other players in this league? I think he plays a beautiful brand of basketball. I really do. 32.4 points per game, 8.6 assists, 7.7 rebounds. But I don't think Lakers fans are turning the corner on Luka Doncic. I think what is the truth here, and which just makes this such a lazy, low-hanging fruit, cringe level story to pursue here, is that the Lakers have a lot of fans because the Lakers have the biggest fan base of any team in the NBA, any basketball team in existence. And when you have a lot of fans, that means that there's different factions of fans. You have fans that are I watch every game. I don't miss anything. I read after the game. I'm completely tapped in. And then you have your fans that are just kind of on the fringes. Then you have your fans that are on Instagram and Twitter and Reddit. And the truth is that, yeah, I think there's frustration because it feels like, hey, we were told that Luka Doncic was so much better than Anthony Davis and that Luka Doncic took his team to the finals a couple years ago, that you wanted him to win in year one, but you still have a team in transition. You still have a team that has one more year of LeBron James. And I think that when you're seeing fans hate on Luka, I really think that it's Lakers fans that if you take off their disguise, they're truly LeBron fans. So I think this is just not how it is. I mean, welcome to Los Angeles too. Like, here's the thing too. Like, if this is a rude awakening for Luka, this is Los Angeles, meaning the volume of fans is going to be there. And here's how it is. If you win, we love you. If you don't win, like, we're waiting for you to win. Like, there's no in between. Like, you can't own this city unless you win a championship. Period, point blank, end of story. This is the city of champions. This is the city that's going to be defined by champions. And I think more so than any team in this city, yeah, the Dodgers are in a dynasty right now. The Rams won a Super Bowl a couple of years ago. It was their second in franchise history. If there's one team that you're defined by, can you win a championship? It's the Lakers. Outside of Elgin Baylor, every superstar that's really ran through here has been able to get it done. And it almost reminds me of the post-Shaq Kobe era. The post-Shaq Kobe era was very similar to the early Luka Doncic era in that he puts up incredible video game numbers. The stats are off the charts. It clearly looks like he can do whatever he wants on a basketball court. He can score. He can drop the 50 piece on you. He can also facilitate. But it's not like the roster was there. He was playing with Smush Park and Ronny Turiaf. He was going to war with butter knives. And right now, I think that Luka's in a better position slightly than that version of the Kwame Brown, Smush Parker, Ronny Turiaf level Lakers. But still, it's a transition. And I think, too, the Luka hate is so misguided. Like, I think that around the league, now he's getting hate because he's a Laker. And he was one of those guys that, because he's on the Mavericks, not this big traditional marquee franchise, it was like, hey, like, I got my team, but I respect Luka for the way he plays the game. Well, now it kind of felt like the Lakers got what they wanted, and fans kind of hate that. They hate the fact that he's on the Lakers, but there's just so much irrational hatred for Luka. Like, he's just, I think, one of the most misunderstood players in the NBA. The defensive issues, they're way blown out of proportion. He's an average defender. He's not this atrocious defender that people make him out to be. Should he talk to the refs as much as he does? Probably not. But Kobe's do the same thing. Like, great players chirp at the refs. And Luka can control a game at a level that really almost looks like LeBron in his second stint with the Cavs, where he's like a computer processing defenses. And the truth is, he's an absolute killer. He's got all the confidence in the world. The Lakers front office understands this, and they know that this entire franchise is going to be his franchise, and they're just kind of waiting for the LeBron thing to end. So I don't see this. BDR, you were at the game. You heard MVP chants for Luka. Until I hear one clip of Lakers fans at Crypto.com Arena booing Luka Doncic, and what's to boo? Like, this is just Ryan. Look, I saw something funny about the NBA. I forgot who it was, but they were like, would you need to watch any part of the NBA so far to like know what's going on for the playoffs? Like, the truth is, people are searching for headlines right now, and this is the low-hanging fruit. But BDR, you kind of saw a lot of fan support for Luka Doncic, right?
Yeah, I did see a lot of fans out there. When I went to a Laker game with my lady a couple weeks ago, I was hearing MVP chants when he went up to the free throw line. So people still loving Luka out in LA, man.
Exactly. I mean, that's the thing. And if anything, I think that there's just this acceptance that they're not going to win a championship with just Luka Doncic, and that it's going to be a process. So I personally think that LeBron brings in his fans. And I don't know if you saw that clip of LeBron and Luka kind of walking down the tunnel and fans running with that, saying they'll have a great relationship or whatever that may be. But the time is ticking. And I still think that LeBron more than delivered on what he was supposed to deliver when he came back to the Lakers, but that doesn't mean that you're not ready for a new fresh start. And I think that's what a lot of fans are thinking. I don't know why that would hurt fan support for Luka, but that's the case. By the way, Amico Hoops, he is really like the go-to guy, Sam Amico, for Hoops Wire. Legit. He has a really proven track record, and he was on a Cleveland Cavaliers show lately, a couple weeks ago. And actually, this is actually a couple days ago, he went on again, and he said there's a 99% chance that LeBron James is going to go back to Cleveland. And we'll see. I think it's probably just as bad of a kept secret that he was going to go be a Laker. I think it's as bad he's going to go return to the Cavs. And you look at that roster, you've got about $225 million committed to salary next season. I think it's going to be a pride thing, because for them to get LeBron James in Cleveland, he's going to have to sign that taxpayer mid-level exception worth about $6 million. Should LeBron go back to Cleveland for $6 million? I think that if I was LeBron James, I would rather stay in LA and sign for a low contract like that. I think if I'm LeBron James, the fact that you're basically letting everyone write your last chapter for you, if I'm LeBron, I'm saying, look, I know everyone wants me to go back to Cleveland, but you know what? LeBron at that price for the Lakers will make a ton of sense. So if I'm LeBron, I think the right thing to do from a narrative standpoint is sure, go back to Cleveland, get the farewell to your want. But hey, good luck trying to move out of LA. I mean, look at the background behind me, right? Does not look like this in Cleveland right now. So yeah, if I'm LeBron, I would try to stay in LA any way I could. Got some more comments. AU Potter, like MJ said, D is the most important in the playoffs. Certainly. Pablo Ramos, D-Mac, I'm a diehard Lakers fan and not an LBJ fan, but I believe Luka deserves the criticism. His defense is atrocious, and him complaining for every call hurts us. Yeah, look, for me, it doesn't bother me to watch him complain about calls, because guess what? Breaking news, the NBA officials are as bad as they've ever been, but also the defense I don't think is as bad as people make it out to be. This roster really isn't constructed to complement him on defense too. Like, what do you want to do? Go be prime Tony Allen and Ron Artest and also have to drop 40 and 50 points just to keep the Lakers in the game in the fourth quarter? Like, I mean, what more do you want? I mean, what do you want to, like, for me, guys are going to complain. Guys are going to complain. Like, at the end of the day, I look at the results and the production, and Lakers fans are spoiled and they're toxic. And I think the truth of the matter is they have a player that most franchises never even get a chance to get. There's never been a player as good as Luka Doncic, even on the Charlotte Hornets. I don't think anyone would try to say that Anthony Edwards is better than Luka Doncic. Like, we are truly talking about a guy that is right there with Nikola Jokic and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Wemby, I think, at his very best, has the potential to run away with MVPs for multiple seasons. But the point is, they gave away Anthony Davis without having to give up Austin Reeves. And Anthony Davis was going nowhere. Data Davis, overweight, gets injured. They were never going to win another title with Anthony Davis as their best or second best player, most likely, unless maybe a guy like Luka Doncic came around. And guess what? He's not. So the Lakers got the ultimate get out of jail free card. They got Luka Doncic, an elite player, top 5 player in his absolute prime. You just have to go with the learning curve, and you have to go with the growing pains. I do think that the honeymoon phase is over. I will say that. The honeymoon phase is over. Nico Harrison, this and that. Hey, guess what? I'm not afraid to say this. Luka Doncic, he was in a better spot when he had a GM like Nico Harrison, because I think Nico Harrison's a better GM than Rob Pelinka, as save for one move, right? As far as building a championship roster from the doldrums of rebuilding. So I'm waiting to see him get a competent GM as well. But all right, switch gears, talk some Lakers Nuggets tonight. And the Lakers, they have a really a really good opportunity to make a statement tonight. 7 p.m. at Ball Arena, Prime Video. That means BDR's watching. He loves all the games on Prime, right, Noel? Yeah, because the crew. Yeah.
Oh, man.
Could Taylor Rooks get you to like pop like Steve Nash was? You see that?
I could do a little dance like
yeah,
Steve.
would you? Yeah, I know you would. I know you would. But yeah, I love the Prime games, by the way. But tonight, a really good opportunity. You got a battle between superstars. And the Nuggets, can they get really a good finish of their season? Because they got one of the most difficult finishes to their season as far as schedule goes. And Aaron Gordon's not going to be around. Jamal Murray's going to be there. And the Lakers and the Nuggets, they always seem to have interesting games. The Nuggets aren't a great defensive team. In fact, they're 21st in the league at overall team defense. It is above the Lakers, who are at 22. But they don't have a deep bench. They depend way too much on Jokic and Murray to win games. And it's the first of a back-to-back. So the Lakers tonight, the Nuggets, the Pacers, the following night, the Lakers need to win this game. They really, really do. Since Luka Doncic joined the Lakers, they're 3-1 against the Nuggets. And when Luka plays, they're 3-0. So this is a great opportunity for this Lakers team to kind of build on some recent success. Injury-wise, Maxi Kleber, he's listed as questionable, dealing with a back injury. For the Nuggets, Aaron Gordon dealing with that right hamstring strain. Peyton Watson dealing with that right hamstring strain. Spencer Jones, a right shoulder sprain. Cam Johnson is questionable with a right ankle injury. So big one tonight. BDR, who you got?
You know, I got to go with the Lake Show, man.
Go with the Lake Show. Big game for Luka.
Yeah, Luka. AR's playing tonight, right? Yeah, I think he's going to be big for both.
I love it. I mean, I think that you're going to start to see momentum really start to push, because the Lakers are going to be in a position where, do they start climbing, or is there going to be a free fall? Because it's going to be a really crucial stretch of the schedule. You look at Thursday's matchup against the Nuggets. It's going to be the first of 2 meetings against Denver in this next 8-game stretch. They're going to face them again on March 14th. So you look at some of these playoff teams, and we kind of laid out a path a couple of weeks ago. Well, you look at the Lakers. They're going to play a team who sent them to Cancun last year. They're playing the Timberwolves on March 10th, and that's the 4th game in that stretch. The Lakers are 2-0 against them this year, and the Lakers are also going to play the Rockets twice in this stretch. Houston, their team that has had their ups and downs just like the Lakers this season. The Rockets, they crushed the Lakers on Christmas Day. And then out of the conference games, the Lakers are going to be facing the Knicks on March 8th. And then the only real easy games are going to be the Pacers and the Bulls as far as on paper. So this really is going to be the defining stretch of the regular season. The Lakers have one of the tougher schedules down the stretch, and a lot of these matchups are going to be against Western Conference teams. It's going to be a lot of seeding. And right now, the Lakers, their toughest opponents down the stretch, you've got a lot of these teams where, look, you got 21 games left. Their strength of schedule is the 9th most difficult one. You've got the Knicks, the Pistons, the Rockets, the Timberwolves, the Cavs, OKC a couple times, and then you also got the Denver Nuggets. And their easiest opponents, you got the Pacers, the Nets, the Wizards, the Jazz, the Mavs, and the Bulls. So it is not going to be easy, but we're going to find out a lot about this team in the next couple of weeks. Some comments here. You got people giving up on the season. They have Luka, LeBron, and Austin, and they actually do have good role players. If they're giving up on the season, JJ is a really bad coach, Adam Hurley. I think that's the thing. Everyone wants to give JJ Redick this free pass and say, oh, if the Lakers flame out this season, it's just because it was 40-plus-year-old LeBron and the first full season with Luka and not enough wings and DeAndre Ayton's a bust and this and that. I'm evaluating everyone because guess what? The Dodgers are at the helm now with Mark Walter and his ownership group. And let's not forget, too, that part of the reason why J.J. Redick is the coach of this team is his connection with LeBron James. And, hey, that shouldn't be an excuse as to why you can't get the most out of this team. And I still think that J.J. Redick, for everyone that thinks that he kind of has this this deal where he's just going to get a clean slate, no, this is a job that can wear you down very fast. And he runs extremely hot. I do think that he's an upgrade to Darvin Ham, but the bottom line is if this team gets bounced in the first round again and they get embarrassed where you can point to a bad coaching decision like we saw from J.J. Redick last year when he played all of his starters, gave him zero rest in the second half, the first time that had been done in the modern era. Like, I'm looking at J.J. Redick too. I'm evaluating everyone. Mario, I'm looking at you, DeAndre Ayton. No more 2-point games. Yeah, DeAndre Ayton, I think, still needs to have those minutes reduced. Luka going for 40, flush them Nuggets down the drain. Okay, interesting. Ruben says at least Luka and LeBron get along a hell of a lot better than D'Angelo Russell and Nick Young ever did. Yeah, well, that's not saying much. I mean, come on now. I don't think what are they going to do? They're not going to try to expose each other. I mean, come on now. All right, switching gears to the Dodgers. All right. We're very close. We're getting very close. 21 days until opening day. We are Walker Buehler days away until opening day. And if you're looking for storylines down the stretch, well, guess what? Someone that we interviewed a couple weeks ago down at spring training that no one was talking about. I planted my flag. Did I not? Did I not plant my flag when no one mentioned this guy and said that Santiago Espinal was going to be on the Dodgers opening day roster? And most people were saying, well, first of all, who the hell is Santiago Espinal? But guess what? Today at Dodgers camp, Dave Roberts said, quote, "It's hard to imagine Espinal not being on the team. Plenty can change over the final few weeks of camp, but still, that's very, very notable that Espinal has already caught the attention of Dave Roberts. And Roberts has spoken very highly of Espinal. When players reported to camp, he was a guy that was having discussions with the front office about a potential role because his ability to play third base. He's really good as an infielder. He can hit lefties better than righties. And since he's got those opportunities, he's gone 8 for 14. He's hit 2 doubles, has stolen a base, and also it's the versatility. They were looking for someone like him with Andy Ibanez. I think he can be better. I really do. And we're talking about someone that has been an all-star. In 2022, made the all-star game. Last 2 seasons in Cincinnati, he's really struggled, hit 245. But right now, you could see him complimenting Ha-Seong Kim. Ha-Seong Kim's a lefty. Santiago Espinal is a righty. And he's entering the second year of his 3-year deal with the Dodgers. Kim is. And he also got Miguel Rojas. So this is pretty exciting stuff just because this is a guy who has made an all-star team, who is a big leaguer, who has gotten the confidence from his organization. And it's the Dodgers, right? Somehow, some way, he'll end up hitting like 450, have like 4 home runs in the playoffs. Like, this is a solid bench piece. And with Kim, Muncy, and Freeman all hitting from the left side, a versatile right-handed hitter is always going to be a welcome addition to the bench. And that's what he provides. So I'm taking a victory lap on Santiago Espinal. All right, switching gears. Clayton Edward Kershaw. So Kersh, he gave up a bomb to Mickey Moniak. And yes, it was not the outcome that he wanted, but still, he's out there, got the retirement glow. He's got the Team USA jersey. And I did not like what I saw on social media in response to Clayton Kershaw giving up a home run as Team USA warms up for the WBC.
Light my fire. You blow my mind.
Here we saw that said. That said that Clayton Kershaw is the most washed player of all time in the Team USA jersey. You really mean to tell me that? You really mean to tell me that Clayton Kershaw, who last season made 22 starts and posted a 3.36 ERA and helped that team in the postseason, is the most washed player of all time? First and foremost, he has a role. And I think the WBC is fundamentally flawed because not only do these players have to get the insurance just to play, but from what I've been told is that there's all these like behind the scenes stuff where Mark DeRosa for Team USA has communication with all the teams for the players that they play for. And there's restrictions on all these guys, like restriction on Tarek Skubal, restriction on Paul Skeens. Like these guys can't even play full bore. And Clayton Kershaw, he's not playing anymore. No insurance. He said yesterday that he's ready to throw 1,000 pitches whenever they need him to. So guess what? He's exactly what they need. Because if they're in a blowout, whether they're getting blown out or blowing a team out, which as the tournament favorites, I'm pretty sure that it is going to be the former and not the latter, he's going to serve a purpose at some point. And for everyone saying, oh, Shohei Ohtani is going to hit a bomb off of Clayton Kershaw, I remind you this, that when Shohei Ohtani was on the Angels and Kersh was on the Dodgers, Shohei was 0 for 11 lifetime against Clayton Kershaw. So, look, I think to call him wash is ridiculous because he's not even playing in a big league career anymore. This is for Team USA. And also, guess what? Doesn't matter what you think. The dude's a first ballot Hall of Famer. He's going to get a statue. He's already beaten the video game. He's just playing it on story mode because it's fun and he enjoys it and he wants to be around the guys. And then on top of everything else, he said that he's at peace with retirement. He's going to start his new job as an analyst for NBC. And give Mickey Moniak credit. He hit a bomb. I'm sure he'll savor that moment for the rest of his career. I think there's a lot more washed players in Major League Baseball that are still trying to continue their careers than a Clayton Kershaw who's already completely done everything that he's been able to do throughout his career. I mean, I look at a guy like Robbie Ray who's has ups and downs. I mean, there's just so many guys. I mean, give Verlander a lot of credit for being able to continue his career. But I guarantee you, if Clayton wanted to continue his pitching career, there would be teams calling him, begging for 20 starts. You show me your starter on your team that you think it doesn't have watch pitchers, they can give me 22 starts and a 3.36 ERA. Show me. I'm waiting because I don't think it's a lot. All right. We got some comments. D-Mac, do you think Kim is cooked if Espinal continues doing well? He might regret leaving for the WBC. Good question. I mean, Dave Roberts did already say that Kim playing in the WBC and not being with the team is not going to hurt him. And also, Espinal, I think, is going to get time at third base. That's what I've heard, is you could see him in a platoon situation with Muncy maybe early on as well. Noah Miller is a sleeper. That's from Craig. Certainly is a really impressive player, Noah Miller. But I also think that for him, he's got to prove he can hit for an extended period of time, and now is not the time. And the interesting thing about Santiago Espinal is the roster move, by the way, is Santiago Espinal, they're going to have to make a roster move to get him on the roster. So, you know what? I'm going to save that one for Dodgers Dugout Live. I'll tell you who I think the Dodgers could DFA because they're going to have to make a roster move if they're going to want to put him on, because Santiago Espinal is not on the Dodgers 40-man roster. All right, couple quick ones before we get out of here. Cameron Brink, the Los Angeles Sparks basketball player. This was going viral. She was doing a podcast interview, and she said that she had to not have her private chef that she was paying $7,000 a month for because of her $6,500 a month WNBA salary.
I had a chef. That was
period.
No, that was way too. Do you want to know what she was charging me for 1 month?
How much?
$7,000.
Cameron Brink.
I know. Absurd.
Cameron Brink.
Absurd. For 2 people. For Benjamin and I.
For 3 meals or just how many meals?
No, not even for 3 meals. She was like shopping at Erewhon though. That was the issue. Stay away from Erewhon. Fuck that place. Actually, I love Erewhon. Sorry. I'm like, that's a treat for me though.
That's
I'm
crazy.
like, I'm on, my contract is $70K. We cannot be doing that is more than my salary.
Crazy.
That is more than my salary.
That's insane.
No, and we started right when I got hurt. She's a great person, by the way.
You're like, ma'am, I have a membership at Costco.
Like, I'm gonna go to Costco. I'm gonna go to In-N-Out. I'm on a weight gain program anyway, so let's just go to In-N-Out.
That's goals. I'm on a weight gain.
Let's go to In-N-Out.
Oh,
God.
anyways, no, a chef is a flex.
It wasn't though. At the end of the day,
you should find a good one. That
almost costs as much as my Kelly.
I love that for you.
Fucking crazy.
Kelly or
Chef
protein or
health,
nutrition or purse?
Erewhon, Hermes.
Okay, so Cameron Brink, I think, is going to be on the brink of bankruptcy if she continues these spending habits. And yes, I do believe WNBA players should get more of the revenue split. I'm all in favor of that. I think they should get paid what they deserve as far as the growth of their league. This is not a conversation about that. But I thought that I saw her on a New Balance commercial. I thought that she had endorsements. Pretty sure she's pretty big on social media. Is her WNBA salary her only revenue stream? And if that's the case, why on earth are you giving a personal chef $7,000 a month? You couldn't find a cheaper personal chef than $7,000 a month. Maybe give us a $4,000 or $5,000. Maybe, I don't know, get a subscription to Blue Apron. I don't know. But the truth is, she's supposed to have a Stanford education, right? I think she needs to be a little better at money management because that doesn't make a lot of sense. And look, Erewhon, the taquitos there. I mean, look, there's some bangers at Erewhon. It's the big social scene in Beverly Hills, right there on Beverly Drive. I get it. People are trying to chill at Erewhon. But maybe get a chef that shops at Ralph's or Vaughn's or Pavilions or Food for Less or Smart and Final, anywhere but Erewhon. I mean, the fact that her chef would have been like the highest paid player in her franchise, does that tell you, man, maybe I need to get into cooking instead of cooking on the court? Because clearly that pays. And I look at Cameron Brink, and yes, she's getting clowned on this for sure. But look, the truth is she's outpacing her income and spending. And I think that, look, do a lot of players have a private chef? They do. But I mean, no way you need a private chef for $7,000 a month. I mean, that's insane. I mean, bro, like, I feel like I'm guilty because I'm doing like Uber Eats 5 days a week at one point. I'm embarrassed to look at my Uber Eats. I've Uber Eats 7-Eleven sushi before. Like, I've done everything, but still, I mean, that's kind of a bag on a chef, right? I mean, look, dude, I'll come to your house, Cameron Brink, and be your chef for that price. I can make a mean peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I'll make you a PB&J. What's your favorite meal, Cameron Brink? You pay me $7,000, I will cook for you. I make a mean chili. BDR. It's kind of a big bag for a personal chef.
That's a lot of money, man. I mean, you got to be, But, she got the endorsement deal. She could probably afford it, but at the same time, it's better to invest in real estate, all those kind of things. Things you got to invest in, not personal chefs, probably.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's a 4-month season, right? But I mean, she needs to 7,000. That's just doing the math. 7,000. I mean, you're looking at basically $84K a year, right? I mean, that's basically like the manager at a restaurant. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
I'll come over and cook for free.
That's what I'm saying.
Right?
Hey, WNBA players making less than chefs. That's kind of where we are out. I mean, hey, just ball out on those other revenue streams, I'm sure. But you don't need to see Cameron on the brink of bankruptcy dropping $7K on a chef. All right, last one here. Thought this was really cool. look at the UCLA cheerleaders. Oh, wait, that's not the UCLA cheerleaders. That is the UCLA women's basketball team. You got Gabriela Jaquez. You got Lauren Betts. Check this out. So how about that? That was pretty awesome. You had Charlize Ledger Walker on her channel. They were doing this series where they were learning this dance, but Gabriela Jaquez, Jaime Jaquez's sister, and hey, Lauren Betts hit that. I think what did the kids say? She ate, left no crumbs. I mean, she was absolutely killing it with that. And look, this is the dance before the dance for the UCLA women's basketball team. And the vibes have been high for this team all season. Corey Close's Lady Bruins challenging the UConn women's team, hopefully in the Final Four to win a national championship. And they were the good luck charm, by the way, because UCLA men's basketball got another win against a top 10 team, beating the Nebraska Cornhuskers and locking up their spot in the tournament. But yeah, I thought that was really cool. Shout out to them. They totally crushed that. And yeah, I guess it was Tate McRae's song that they were dancing to. Apparently she's with that hockey player, by the way. Couple of comments here. We got Kershaw easily could be a second rotation guy. 7K is insane. I know, honestly, like that's a big bag. Yeah, she's good. Cameron Brink's gonna join the Sparks cheerleading team. She's like, I'll dance for food. I don't know, but R. Carino, D-Mac, don't eat 7-Eleven sushi. I don't want you to get sick, my goat. Yeah, 7K a month. Was that? They do. Yeah, I know they do. Hey, man, I'm pretty sure Stanford probably had some really good food too, right? I mean, Stanford, next level stuff. But yeah, how about that, man? How about these UCLA cheerleaders? I want to see the men's team. I want to see the men's team's got to do that. Like the men's team, you have 24 hours to respond. I want to see Donovan Dent and Bill Lideau. I want to see Xavier Brooks. I want to see that UCLA team. Hey, you got to battle back for sure. But all right, guys, that's going to do it for this episode of the LA Sports Report. Join us in a little bit for Dodgers Dugout Live. I'm going to tell you who they could DFA because they're going to have to make a roster move if Santiago Espinal is going to make that team. There's someone I think could be a little bit of a shocker they could DFA. But that's going to do it for this episode. My name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. Special thanks to producer Big Dog Rob, always crushing it on the production side. And I'll see you guys in a little bit. And remember that LA is the city of champions.